Hello everyone, good morning. So I am live today as promised, and today we're talking about that false sense of urgency that a lot of us seem to be feeling. I'm gonna let everybody hop on, give you guys a few seconds. This is a live free training happening in my private Facebook group, High Value Worthy Woman. Some of you may be watching the replay of this on YouTube or via my newsletter. Welcome, everyone. Before I get started, I also want to mention that this weekend, starting today, the High Value Worthy Woman Toolkit is $100 off. This is my Deep Inner Work program. It's my signature program. And next month in April, we will be releasing another module for this on Deep Inner Work. So grab it now if you haven't already. Also, if you're part of my inner circle, which is anyone who has bought a previous program from me, then there's a special coupon code for you, which you can also use on this or any of my programs. So let's get started. What is this false sense of urgency? I talked about this many times on my YouTube channel. I mentioned it, and a lot of times other women came up saying, oh my God, they experienced this too. I thought it was just this weird thing that I experienced. I'm glad to hear that other people can relate to this, but obviously this is not a good thing. So we want to try and figure out how to minimize this in our lives. So the false sense of urgency can show up in this weird energy that we have about us where we feel like we have to rush through things. This could be from the way that we eat to the way that we walk, the way we drive, the way we run through our chores, the way that we interact with other people, our conversations. Everything is just sped up, right? It's like really happening fast. We feel like we have to rush through it. I could never understand this. In fact, for the longest time, I considered this one of my biggest strengths because nobody could clean faster than I could clean. Nobody could cook faster than I can cook. I just was naturally doing everything really, really fast. And I often got complimented on it. I know my husband complimented me on this many times that I cook so fast. Like he's like, wow, dinner's done? And, we cook traditional cuisine, which it takes a longer time. And he was always complimenting me on this, which made me think this is really a good thing. Like I do everything fast. It actually also made me very successful in my life from the traditional, very much Western way of thinking of success, right? Because I'm able to accomplish a lot of things in my day, more so than other people. And this is considered a high, this is considered a quality that high success people have, right? But as I've become more conscious and more intentional in my life, I've come to realize that this is in fact not a good trait. To do everything fast, to rush through life, to rush through our accomplishments, our way of being, our conversations with people, our interactions with people, is not the definition of my success. And it really holds us back because we're always just living in this sort of state of rushing through everything. And really, if you think of it, if you stop for a second and think of it, what are we rushing to? Am I rushing to a state where my children have just grown up and I've missed every opportunity because I rushed through everything? Am I rushing through the experience of aging? Am I rushing to the experience of death? Because really, those are the only constants in life, right? Knowing that everything is going to end at some point through death. So it doesn't make any sense if you really stop and think about it, yet we live our entire life this way, really sped up. It's almost like watching our lives go on fast forward, right? We fail to experience these things. And so the last live training that I did on the fear of missing out, I think that kind of relates to this training as well, because we feel like there's so much to consume, there's so much to experience, so many people to see, so many activities to do, that we have to rush through everything to make room for everything and to experience everything. Except the exact act of wanting to experience everything and consume everything and experience, and being there for every moment is the thing that robs us of the true experience of being present in that moment. Hello, Helen. Hi, Desiree. Welcome, ladies. So why do we do this? There's a lot of reasons that we can come up with. I want to just mention a few, but I'm sure there's more that I'm missing out. One is just the simple act. It's just this nervous energy that a lot of us carry inside of us. Some people have a nervous tic. Those people that are always kind of shaking one leg, or they have to be doing something. They're very fidgety. That could be a reason that we have this false sense of energy, because it could be just another way of really trying to release that nervous energy is just by moving really fast and doing very fast. So that's one explanation that we can think of. Another one, kind of along the same lines, is just pent-up emotions. Because we're so used to not sitting still, not ever being alone with our thoughts, not feeling anything because we're just rushing through. We're masking, we're repressing, we're putting away these feelings instead of really living through them. We live in a culture where there's a lot of distractions, so we are able to distract ourselves. We can go out, we can buy more stuff, we can read more books, we can watch more movies, we can listen to more music, we can experience more, travel more, do more. And in all of this stuff, we forget to just be. There's no concept of being, of stillness, of oneness, of quietness. And so all of that can just be pent-up energy and pent-up emotions trying to release itself. Another reason, just the culture that we live in now. And this, I'm talking about the Western culture, but I'm also talking about the larger, just the planet culture of the way that we've just become is not conducive to the natural, human environment that we have evolved to be in. We've lost sight of what it means to be human. We've lost sight of what it means to be connected and oneness and love, and what it means to be able to truly, truly, truly love each other on a deeper level, love ourselves, be alone with ourselves, be with other people, experience quietness and stillness, as well as conversation and noise. And so we are living in a society that's just not very tolerant of anything anymore. We just want to just rush through everything. We just want to experience everything. Desiree said, I would rush around at work to prove myself. Also, it gave me a false sense of accomplishment. Yes, babe, you just hit the nail on the wall. Yes, because I'm the same way. I'm just the same way. I feel like if I can get these 10 things done in a day, then I've done something, then I mean something, then I am worthy. Except that's completely anti-worthy, right? We are worthy because we exist, because we are one with each other, because we love each other, we love ourselves, and because we exist. It shouldn't matter if you got done with 10 things and I did 4 things, so therefore you're more accomplished and more worthy. Except this is how I've lived most of my life. Accomplishments. If I can just work out and get everything done for the kids and do the chores and then make some more videos and put out some more content and then spend time with my husband and then do this and go out and wear this, it's exhausting. It's totally exhausting. And the truth is that my family doesn't need me to do anything. They just need me to be. But I think that's that culture. We live in a culture in the Western society, at least, and I think this is more so now trickling over everywhere on the planet, but we live in a culture that trains us to be good members of society, to produce, to follow, to conform, to live a certain way where we can all be, we're like mass produced. Think of it as like we're living in a culture that promotes all of us thinking the same stuff, all of us buying the same stuff, then all of us tossing out the same stuff to buy more new same stuff. We're trained to be good students in school so that we can grow up to be perfect little employees that follow the rules. And we're all starting to be, oneness is kind of being replaced with being the same. We have no sense of individuality. We have no sense of me and I, and that I exist without this need for being just like everyone else. Okay, so another reason could be the fourth reason, and there's probably a million reasons, but this is just kind of me just giving you a superficial level of where this false sense of urgency may be coming from in your life. And Desiree, I think that was a really good one, of this like sense of accomplishment, of belonging in a culture. Except the way that we're belonging in the culture now is making us not belong anywhere, because we're losing sight of who we really are. We have to become this false sense of belonging. I'm a good student at school. I'm a good employee. I follow the rules. I fit into society. I think just like everybody else. I have the same clothes like everyone else. I buy the same iPhone as everyone else. I wear the same shoes. I think the same thoughts. Therefore, I belong. Except now it's like I don't exist. I'm just another number. This fourth reason is deep inner shadows. Because we're so used to just living a certain way and rushing through life and being just like everyone else, we're completely not embracing certain parts of who we truly are. We want to just be the good side of everything, right? We're loyal, we're a good member of society, we're good people, we're hardworking, we get things done, we're family people. We have sort of these one way of being that unites us, like falsely unites us. So we forget that there's also these other sides of us, right? In order for us to be good, we're also bad, right? In some ways, in order for us to be productive members of society, we're also lazy. But we have hidden that side of us, and therefore we're missing a whole part of our being. We can't see it. That's why it's considered our shadow. So shadow work is the next module which we'll be releasing in the High Value Worthy Woman Toolkit. So if you already own that program, then you do nothing. It will just become available to you in April. But it is $100 off this weekend if you wanted to grab it. So now I'm going to talk about how in my own life I have come to sort of fight off this false sense of urgency. And I really thank my family for pointing this out to me, because it wouldn't have come into my awareness when it did if it weren't for my family members pointing this out. Helen said, and most of us are dissatisfied with our lives. Yes. So we're dissatisfied because we don't even know who we are or what we want, our true authentic selves. So we're just living our lives from the lens of other people. We're coming up and showing up in life of, okay, so what will make me worthy of love? What will make me worthy of belonging? So, Brené Brown, I've talked about her work quite a bit. She talks about where she went to a middle school and she asked the students the difference between belonging, true belonging, and fitting in. And the 5th graders or 6th graders nailed it. And they said belonging is being accepted. I'm probably butchering this, but sort of along the lines of belonging is being accepted for who you are, and fitting in is being accepted for being like everyone else. And so we're trying to fit in, but we belong nowhere. We don't belong to ourselves anymore, and we definitely don't belong to anyone else if we don't belong to ourselves, because we don't know who we are anymore. I'm just trying to be like Helen and be like Desiree and be like everyone else in society so that I can live up to a certain lens that makes me look productive and successful and beautiful and a good wife and a good mother, except I don't know what any of those things mean from my true definition, because I've lost sight of who I am. So that's where we are as a society, and so that's why we're dissatisfied, because we can't live up to this false person because we don't even know who we are anymore. Samantha said, how can I accomplish this while being a stay-at-home mom and wife? So Samantha, I would say that as a stay-at-home mom and wife, we have a huge advantage of being able to accomplish this, because we can live by our own rules and design our own rules versus, and again, this isn't, ladies, for those of you guys that are new to my channel or my group or my work, I have fit into every sort of classification of womanhood or motherhood. So I have been a working mom, working married mom in my previous marriage. Then I went to being a single mom. And then I went to being a stay-at-home mom in my new marriage, in my current marriage. And then now I'm a work-from-home mom. So it's fair to say that I understand what it means to be in any unique situation, in any classification of motherhood, whatever you want to call it. And I have empathy and love and compassion for all of those, because they all come with it. They're each unique pros and cons. They're each unique joys and challenges. But I will say that having the lens of being able to experience each of those, that if you are a stay-at-home mom, it's slightly easier for you. So yay, right? But that doesn't mean that it's an excuse that puts single moms or working moms saying, oh, well, I'm not a stay-at-home mom, so I can't do this. But you can start with wherever you are. So let's work through this a little bit. Number one, and this isn't in any particular order, but if you want to experience or get rid of this false sense of urgency in your life, you're going to have to stop living in the past and stop living in the future. So this is where that whole concept of feminine energy comes from, because feminine energy is present in the now. There has to be some sort of intentionality in your life. Do you know what you're doing right now? Like, what are you really doing? What are you really being? And not just, Mina, I'm listening to this live training, obviously, I'm here with you. No. What are your actions? What are your goals in life? And what are your ways of being? Where did they come from? Does your way of doing things, way of being, come from your childhood? Are you trying to make up for the love that you didn't receive from your parents? Are you trying to live up to your husband's ideal wife? Are you trying to become that perfect employee at work? Are you trying to find worthiness in your appearance because that's what you think will get you the love that you want and deserve? Are you doing things because that's just how everybody does things, and because you want to be a good mother, or you want to be a productive person, or you want to acquire wealth, or you want to get that fit body? And there is nothing wrong with any of those things as long as they fit into your intentional life blueprint. So if you're doing these things because you have sat down and become quiet and still and at one with yourself and decided, I want wealth for myself, I want a fit body, I want to be an exceptional mother, and this is what it means for me, versus I have no idea what any of these things mean, but if I get all of these things based on society standards, I may have happiness in the future. Except living your life that way gives you a lot of dissatisfaction. You're just rushing from one task to the next because your happiness exists in the future. Your happiness exists in the eyes or lens of society, on your neighbor thinking that you have a fit body, on society telling me that if I'm a millionaire, then that's what it means to be wealthy, or my mommy group saying, well, this is what good motherhood looks like. None of those things mean anything to me because I have no intentionality, I have no ownership in anything. So I've become completely disembodied with who I am, what I really want, what these things mean to me. Good motherhood, for example, is one of those things that mean different things to different people. Wealth means different things to different people. A fit body means different things to different people, to different cultures, to different eras even. What is considered fit right now in 2018 is very different than what was considered fit in 1970. So again, it's not about trying to rush up to this measurement of everyone else, but what's your measurement of your success, of your being? Intentionality has to play a role in it. You can't quit doing this false sense of life and urgency without intentionality. Okay, and the second thing I want to talk about is priorities. So if you have your intentionality, if you have a blueprint for your life, meaning this is what, when I am dying, when I'm 90, when I'm kind of taking my last few breaths, what will give me peace at that moment knowing I have achieved, okay? And I use the word achieved loosely. Please don't think achievements have to, not the traditional Western way of thinking. What will give me peace at that moment? And then you work your way backwards and say, okay, well, what can I do right now to get me that peace right now? What are my priorities? So right now, if you're the average person that has no blueprint, no intentionality, your priority needs to become you. Being still with yourself long enough to figure out, what the hell do I want with myself? Who do I want to become? Who am I? Are my thoughts mine, or are they just kind of this superficial layer, remnants of my childhood, of my past wounds, of my hurts? Do my thoughts really belong to me? Or have they been planted there from the things that I read, the things that I watch, consume, taken from social media, what my neighbors and friends and loved ones tell me? You need to take that control back. And the best way to do that is really, and please don't shy away from this. Before I say this word, let me tell you that I fought off this word for the longest time because I did not understand it. Here it comes, meditation. I tried this whole woo-woo meditation thing for like a decade and I couldn't do it. I just did not understand it. And I realize now it's just because nobody was able to explain it to me in a way that made any sense to me. And it comes in many different forms and ways. So please find one that works for you. For me, my feminine energy meditation, one that I've posted on Facebook and here on YouTube before, is really, think of it as just being quiet with yourself for long enough every single day. Start with 5 minutes, 20 minutes to start thinking from within, so that you're being from within, so that you can figure out who you are. Because when we're constantly noisy, meaning our head is always running, there's mind chatter, there's outside noise, we distract ourselves with social media, with movies, with reading, with audiobooks, with children, with chores, with being productive and the next thing and the next best thing, and always finding happiness from outside of us. We don't really know who we are inside. So you need to be able to be still and quiet with yourself consistently every single day, so that inner being starts coming forward. Now, there is nothing wrong with consuming books or things or being busy or being productive or acquiring wealth. All of those are good things, again, as long as you have consciously, intentionally chosen those things as part of your life blueprint. If you're just kind of like a hamster on the wheel, then there's something wrong with those things because you didn't choose them. You're going to be pretty dissatisfied even after acquiring them. Let me tell you something. As someone who's lived their life, me, primarily in the masculine energy, born and raised in the US, born in this Western culture of thinking, of being a super high achiever, I wanted success in the traditional sense. I got it. I wanted to become a millionaire. I became a millionaire. I wanted to have a successful business. I did it. I wanted to lose weight and have a fit body. I did it. I wanted 3 kids. Did it. Wanted a successful husband, got it. I got everything, except I'm still rushing through life. So guess what? That means that those are not the answers to finding inner peace, to finding calmness and stillness. Those are great things, and I'm very blessed to have them in my life. But without the appreciation or the gratitude for those things, they just become just another thing on my to-do list that I check off and say, okay, got it, next. What's next? So if I can be your future manifestation, if you can kind of imagine, okay, Mina has a few things that I want. But if you have no intentionality in those things and you have no gratitude for those things, let me tell you, consider me your future self telling you it's not going to make you happy. Without intentionality, love, oneness, stillness, and without knowing who you are, your authentic self, I'm here to tell you those things are not going to make you happy. To me, those are the things that define my happiness. They are part of my blueprint. They're part of my intentionality. I have intentionally wanted and acquired those things and manifested them. But when I lose sight of gratitude in my life and I'm not present in the moment enjoying them, then they mean nothing. Because then I'm just rushing through life. They just become kind of casualties of my life. Moving on to the next thing. And then I'm just dragging my husband and my children and my success and my money and my pretty little wardrobe and my perfect little business. I'm just dragging those things along with me. I'm not experiencing them. I'm not loving them. I'm not at one with them. I'm not present here in the moment. So is this making sense to you guys? You see the difference? There's nothing wrong with wanting love in your life, a gorgeous husband, beautiful children, a nice house. There's nothing wrong with wanting wealth or success or a fit body. But without the appreciation with those things, without the intentionality, without gratitude, they mean nothing. So where do you start? Start with slowing down. Slowing down and being comfortable with the uncomfort and awkwardness of silence. So if any of you are part of my Inner Circle Facebook group, which is the group for people who have taken part in my programs, oftentimes people post in that group having to relive their childhood pain and wounds, or feeling these moments of joy and then feeling these moments of sadness, and thinking, oh my God, what's happening? Why am I sad all of a sudden? Why am I feeling this pain in my body? Why am I feeling this XYZ? Because when you are allowing yourself to be still for a moment, to be quiet, to be comfortable with uncomfort, that's when all of those inner wounds show up. So when we busy ourselves, let's talk about this for a minute. When we busy ourselves, when we're noisy in our head, we're moving from task to task, we're moving from goal to goal, we're moving from reading to reading, watching movies, consuming. We're so busy, we're so rushed, there's such a sense of urgency. What we're really doing is masking all of those repressed feelings and wounds and things that really need to come up, and we need to heal through them. We're masking them. We're putting them away. We're saying, not now. I don't have time. It's not safe for you to come up because I'm about to explode. I have this to do and I have that to do. And I've got to love my husband, and I've got to find a boyfriend, and I've got children and work and success and this fit body. I've got so many things to do. Go away. We bury it deep down. That's where that nervous energy shows up. Those pent-up emotions, all of those things. We're just like, no, not right now. Go away. I don't have time to think right now. I'm so busy. Go away. Now, when you start doing any sort of inner work, whether it's through my programs or any other programs, or just going to a therapist or maybe a life coach or counseling, whatever point, or maybe just you started meditating and now you're still and quiet, guess what? all of those things that you have repressed, that you have buried deep, they say, okay, well, honey, is it safe for me to come up now so you can feel through and heal? Okay, let's test this out. Okay, I'm going to bring something up to the surface now, just a little bit, and see how you react. Okay, so one little thing comes up for you, and maybe you feel through it and you heal through it and you're good, and then something else comes up. It's like opening up a Pandora's box. Now, some of you may be thinking, okay, well, I don't have time for this, so this is not good, so I shouldn't be doing inner work. Except, do you want to live your entire life with this sense of false urgency, with this pent-up emotion, with this repressed love? Remember, because when you repress the bad things, you're also repressing the love, the joy, the happiness, the pleasure, the romance. You can't repress the negative things and then say, okay, I showed up fully for the love and for the happiness and for the joy. It just doesn't work that way. So when you repress the bad stuff, with it goes all the good emotions too. You can't fully experience life with part of you put away. And the greatest example that I can give of this, that I actually heard from someone else, and I thought, oh, this is brilliant. And you'll be learning more about this is in the High Value Worthy Woman Toolkit when I talk about shadow work, is if you have repressed emotions or inner wounds or things that happened to you that you didn't take the time to heal through, it's like holding down a beach ball underwater in a swimming pool. So imagine you're in a swimming pool and you have this childhood hurt. Maybe your mother was neglectful and she neglected you, and you're holding down this beach ball underwater. And you're doing a pretty good job of it. You're living through life and you're holding that down. But let's say that in your last relationship, you had abandonment issues. And so you're holding down that beach ball as well, because you really didn't have time to deal with that either. You're just living life. You're so busy right now. And let's say that at your current job, your boss really talks down at you and he bullies you. But you're so busy, you don't have time to deal with that either. So you're holding down this third beach ball. Okay, now you're holding down these 3 beach balls and you're just rushing through life. Those emotions need to come up and you need to feel through them. But you just don't have time because you're just rushing through. And at any sign of you having a still or quiet moment, you're like, no, wait, I can just watch another TV show, or I can read another book, or I've got that chore to do. I can remodel my house. I need to buy a new car. I need a new wardrobe. I need to put my children in another activity. I'm so busy right now. And the reason that you're keeping yourself busy, this false sense of urgency, is because you don't want those emotions to figure out that it's safe to come out yet. It's best if they remain hidden because you're not ready to deal with them. Except life keeps adding more beach balls, and there's only so much you can hold down until you explode one day. Now, this explosion may be in the form of an actual nervous breakdown. It may come in the form of a bankruptcy. It may come in the form of you becoming an alcoholic. It may come in the form of you popping prescription drugs, becoming a drug addict. It may come in the form of a disease, cancer, something popping up in your body, a literal dis-ease because you're disconnected. Right? So what happens when you start doing the inner work? If you go to the other Facebook group, if you're part of that, you will see people coming up and saying, Mina, I dealt with this. And you see posts from some of these people saying, oh, I'm feeling great. I did my inner work. Amazing. And you see all these positive posts for like 2 weeks. And then you see a post saying, I'm feeling really down. I'm feeling really sad. Why is that happening? Because as you start dealing with certain emotions, more things come up. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to spend the rest of your life just being negative or being sad. What it means is your body, your soul, your inner being is realizing, oh my God, wow, finally, Helen, finally, Elsie or Femina or any of the other people listening right now, Cecilia, Mina, says, Marsha, yes, you're ready. Yes, I was waiting for this moment for a decade. You're ready. You have a moment. I'm going to come up. Your repressed emotion says, I'm going to come up, let you feel through me, let you love through me, let you heal through me so that we can be whole again, so I can start living real again, pure again, love again, authentic again. And so that's what I myself, as I'm doing my inner work, I have moments where I work through something, love through something. I will have moments when I'm very emotional that day. I'll cry, and then I will start feeling better because I'm like healing through that. I'll start loving myself through that. I'll understand, okay, this is where this hurt came from. I was, I think most of you know at this point that I was sexually abused as a child. And so I repressed those feelings for a really long time in my life. And of course, they've come up now because my inner being is saying, okay, Mina, you're starting to live this life of intentionality. You meditate, you're quiet, you've leaned back, you're living your life with purpose. Okay, you're ready. I'm going to bring up these emotions. And so I have to go back into that little girl that was sexually abused and feel through and heal through and love myself through those, so that the current 37-year-old mother of three, mom, wife, me, Mina, the authentic me, I can strip down to that and start being whole again and complete again, and not feel like this violated little girl, this wounded little girl. But yes, as I've said before, it gets ugly before it gets better. Helen said, we are abandoning ourselves. Yes, a part of us feels abandoned. So then what we do is we blame our loved ones for abandoning us instead. But really, our loved ones are mirroring our own selves. So if you start looking at other people, what are the biggest things that you complain about in your life when it comes to other people? Your boss, your husband, your sister, your children. They're mirroring back to you what you are lacking in your own life, what you have abandoned in your own life. Elsie said, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. The beach ball is a great metaphor. I thought so too. It's not my metaphor, but when I heard that, I was like, oh, bingo, nailed it, because it really makes sense. So I asked myself often, I say, Mina, what beach balls are you hanging on to today? What are you holding down? They need to come up. Because if I don't make time for this in my life, I don't allow space for this in my life, I'm going to explode. The beach ball is going to come up one way or another. Do I want to do it in a controlled way where I am allowing it to naturally come up, or do I want to do it where I'm least expecting it and it shows up as a disease, as a failed relationship, as an outburst, as a drug addiction, as a food addiction, all the things that we use for masking. Hi, Lisa. Welcome, babe. Sai said, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. She said, how do I accomplish this while being in a job that has a lot of deadlines and too much work? Great question, Sai. So forget about the job and the deadlines for a moment and go back to intentionality. Why are you in a job that has a lot of deadlines and too much work? Are you really in a job with a lot of deadlines and too much work? Or are you thinking that you are this way so that you can keep yourself busy so that you don't have time to heal through these emotions and these things? So some of it is actual life state, but some of it is in our heads. I have realized this. Again, that's why I'm calling it the false sense of urgency. So accepting the current state for what it is and not for what we have created in our minds. And then also intentionality and priority. Is this job really what fits into your life blueprint? And a lot of you I know will say, well, I need the money, Mina. Okay. Have you thought about and actually worked out why you need money? What you're using the money for? Are you spending your money in ways that are in line with your true values? Do you know what your true values are? Are they in line with your priorities? Have you meditated on that for long enough to figure that out? Are you watching where you're spending your money? Are you watching where you're spending your time? Are you a doormat that often gets stuck in doing chores that are not really part of your life or your job description? Oh, I can talk about this for hours. This is where actual therapy and coaching and all of that comes in. I know we all want quick answers. One thing I want to say, thank you, Tina. Tina said you're absolutely right, Mina. Thank you, Tina, and welcome. Hi, Cecilia. Let me say, I often get these email messages from people who will write to me. It's literally like a 2,000 word email. Okay, describing their situation and then wanting me to solve it quickly. And so I will read through the emails oftentimes when I have time, and sometimes I won't. And I'll reply back saying, okay, thank you for writing in. First of all, from someone sitting here, I don't know your entire situation. Even if you wrote me a 14-page essay on your life, I need to be able to dig in deeper and ask you questions and reflect on some of the things that you're saying and figure them out for the actual current state to what you have created in your mind, how you feel about that. But they're insisting that I just give them a quick solution. That in itself tells me that there's no intentionality. They're not conscious people, because there is no such thing as quick. And I can feel in their emails this like sense of urgency. So they have this life problem that has taken them, let's say, 30 years to get to. They have this failing relationship or this awful job that they're stuck in, and they want me to write in a 1-paragraph email, something that will just completely solve their problem. Do you know how many things are wrong with that situation? The fact that we think that somebody can read an email and just give us like all the solutions in this perfect little email, and that then we can go about our merry way. Because now that problem is solved. I get emails from women telling me if they should divorce their husband based on this one email that they sent me. There's no intentionality, there's no purpose, there's no values, there's no prioritizing, there's no life blueprint. We want somebody else to just hand us the solution. Well, it doesn't work that way, babe. No one else has the key to what we need for happiness. You have the key. But you need to be still enough, quiet enough, long enough to figure that out for yourself. I can offer you suggestions. I can give you the tools that I have learned in my own journey, but I can't resolve anything for you. You need to do that for yourself. But you need to be quiet enough to figure that out for yourself first. Because let me tell you, I can give you 2 million modules, but if you're not taking the time to work through your own deep inner feelings, you're not still enough, consuming more of anything is not going to solve your problem. Okay, so we all need certain tools, right? So meditation is a tool that I needed to learn. Intentionality is a tool that I needed to figure out, right? I needed to know how to prioritize. So those are tools. Yes, I needed to learn how to do those things. But it comes a certain point where more learning is not going to help if I'm not intentionally sitting down and practicing and putting in place and being at one with what I have already learned. Otherwise, learning becomes masking. It becomes a distraction. So this is it for today, ladies. I will leave you with that. Don't forget, there is a inner circle coupon code for 30% off all programs that you can access I emailed it out. I also posted it in the Inner Circle Facebook group, and there is also $100 off the High Value Worthy Woman Toolkit. I will leave you to reflect on this live training, and we've got a lot of wonderful things happening in the High Value Babes Club. As far as a decision for that, I had posted that I may be doing more sessions. So currently I've been posting 2 sessions, 2 live training calls a month. So I'm moving, starting in April, I'm moving to 3 calls a month. So you will get 3 live training calls a month with the Value Babes Club. So yes, thank you so much for spending the morning with me. I will let you be, and I will see you in the next one. Love you ladies so much. Bye.